It's loading up.
Says it's streaming on Facebook.
Okay. So setting up your meeting for Facebook Live. All right. This is going to be raw footage here. Uh-oh. Why did it just take me to my Facebook page? I didn't want to go to the Facebook page. Well, it says we're live on Facebook. So I'm going to go with that. And just go to the Facebook page. You're on and you don't see anything. Well, maybe it's just on my regular one. Anyways, hello everyone. Laura Nelson here with Keller Williams Realty, here with Tim Klotz, the stats guy. So one of the great things here at Keller Williams that we do is we study the market, we figure out the trajectory of the market. Once a month, we go over statistics, and I invited Tim on here to go over this information with us because it's great information, lets us know what's going on with the market and where things are headed. We've been experiencing a very strong seller's market, and we have stats to kind of prove that, and wanted to get Tim on here to go over these numbers with you. So welcome, Tim, and thank you for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me, Laura. Yeah, so every month we update some key statistics. Median price, what we watch is median price for not only just homes that are selling, but also for homes that are for sale. So we watch all of our data comes from MLS. I use a program called Broker Metrics, which gleans information right out of MLS. And so we look at median price for sale and solds. We look at units. We look at number of units available for sale, number of units that have gone pending, and number of units that have sold. And we also look at a statistic called months of supply of inventory. And I'll show these graphs to you and kind of go over them real quick. Months of supply of inventory, that's really defined as if not one more home went on the market after today, how long until we were out of inventory based on the current demand. So that's months of supply of inventory. So I'm gonna screen share with you guys real quick some stats. And it's not allowing me to screen share right now, but what I'll do is I'll kind of go through these a little bit and just talk through them. So I'll pull them up.
Do you want me to pull them up?
Do you have them?
Yeah. Give me a second.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
1 minute here. Let's see. Oh, no. All right, hold on. Sorry. Bear with me, everybody. All right, let's see. Okay, what do you want me to pull up, Tim?
Median price.
For Brentwood for 6 months, year, 2 years?
Do the 1 year. And I'll pull them up on my side computer so I can also take a look at them.
Okay. Can you see it?
No.
Okay.
Okay, so I can just talk about it if you want to talk. Oh, there you go.
Okay.
So that's good. So you're screen sharing median price. And so that's broken down into two different categories. So you have a bar graph, and you've got the red and you have the green bar graph. So the red is properties for sale. The green is properties sold. So that tells you the differentiation. So what we do with this is, first of all, we look at trajectory. You can see back in June of 19. So this is a 1 year snapshot period of time. So you can see back in June of 2019, our for sale properties were selling for about $650, and the sold prices, the sold homes were selling for about $625. Now fast forward 1 year, so we're June of 2020. You can see our for sale price has gone up from $649, $650 to $695. That's almost a 7% increase in for sales. So let's just say you bought a home a year ago and you're looking to sell the home now. Statistically, if we just took all the median, if we took all the homes and lumped them all together, you've got about a 7% increase in the value of your home. That's phenomenal. Give me an investment that you can put money into, and in 1 year get 7%. That's amazing. Now that's for sale. Now the solds are really gives us, really what's happening in the market. So 625 is what they were selling for in 2019. Now they're up to 635, which is about 1.5%, a little over 1.5%. That is honestly what we want to see. We want to see a healthy market. That's telling us we have a fairly healthy market as far as demand and supply. So if you can move to the 6-month one, I can go over that. So I don't know if you've all noticed, but we're in a little bit of an interesting time right now. We're in shelter in place. We're in a quarantine. At one point when we first went into it, and our first day of that was 3/17, St. Patty's Day. From 3/17 till about the end of April, we weren't allowed to sell close escrow on occupied properties. So it was really interesting to watch what happened there. So this is a snapshot in time in the last 6 months. So we looked at a year. Now we're going to 6 months and we're looking at median price. So this is, the details are going to be a little bit more. Now you'll notice there's a line in the middle that's dividing the first 12 weeks of the last 6 months compared to the second 12 weeks. And really is what I look for is I just look for increases. I just look for, periodic, ups or downs. So for sales, only up 3.8%. Now, obviously, that's not as good as the 6.9 we had before, but that's probably because we've been in a shelter in place, and it's just been within the last 60 days that we've been able to sell occupied properties. Sold prices, 1.2. So that's showing you that it's about the same. Our sold prices in percentage of increase has been pretty flat over the last year, even including what's happening with COVID. I think once you see some units, you'll see that COVID really hasn't made a whole lot of difference on the trajectory. If you pull up 1 year units, we can take a look at that.
Let's see. That's the S&D.
Yep, supply and demand and or units.
Does that come up okay?
Yep, that came up great. So it's called in this document, it's called supply and demand. So standard economics. So this is kind of interesting to look at. So obviously you can see the red really well, and you can see how June of 19, this is units. So this is what's available for sale. So you can see June of 19, July of 19 was kind of the peak within the last year for sale properties. Okay. And for sale usually is an indicator to 30 to 60 days later on what's going to be pending. And then 30 to 60 days from pendings tells us what our solds are going to look like. So in June of 19, we had 366 properties. Now, if you flash forward to June of 20, we're only at 251 properties. That's a decrease of 32%. That's a big challenge. So if you're a buyer out there and you're having to write, multiple offers on multiple different properties, or maybe you're just looking at maybe thinking about buying a house, and you're looking online on Laura's website and you find a perfect house and it's a Thursday and you're working until Friday, and all of a sudden Saturday you want to go see that property, or you pull it up again and it's gone. This is an indicator to that. We're down in inventory. What is also interesting is if you look in April, May, and June, if you look at the blue graph, you'll see that's pendings. Okay, so you can see how we had a continual decline from January to March in pendings. Not much, but we had a decline. And then all of a sudden in April, we hit rock bottom. Well, then all of a sudden we opened up to be able to sell occupied properties, and you see it just rocketed. It just rocketed right on up. We're almost 34% increase in pending properties, okay, which is amazing. Now, again, April is when it opened up, and I said 30 to 60 days on our inventory. So now we're starting to see the pendings. Now what's going to happen is starting July, August, September, we're going to see the solds, which will probably also show up in median price because our inventory is down. Standard supply and demand curves. As supply decreases, prices increase. So that's what we're probably going to see over the next, I would say 30 to 90 days. So again, if you're a buyer and you're trying to write an offer, what you want to come in with is you want to make sure that you got a great pre-approval. You've got potentially a great story to tell the seller on why it's important that they pick your offer. You want to move with haste. So if you are actually going to work, which not too many people are actually going to work, but if you're going to work and it's a Wednesday, and Laura sends you a MLS listing that just popped on the market, at 9 o'clock that morning, you may want to think about taking an extended lunch and going to see that property and getting that offer written, because this is an indicator to us having very low inventory. Laura, if you switch over to the 6-month inventory, so this is a year, and obviously the 6-month is going to be those last 6 months, but if you could switch over to the 6-month, Laura, we can
Okay. Sorry, give me 1 second. I gotta grab that one. I thought I got it, but I didn't.
No problem. And really, I just want to show you the last 5 weeks, of it. If you don't have it, I can turn my screen real quick, and you can see my screen up here if you want.
I think, yeah, 1 second. I'll grab it real quick.
Okay. While you're pulling that up, what I want everyone to notice is the number of for sale properties just within the last 6 weeks. We're seeing a huge decrease in for sale properties, and that's an interesting anomaly. I would tell you that a lot of that is going to be due to new home builders, because we do have a lot of new home builders out here, and Laura's an expert with new home builders. So if you're looking to get into a new home, but unfortunately they weren't able to build, so I think that was a contributing factor to our inventory. And then I'm looking at the graph right now, and basically we've gone from each week, we've gone from our peak, which was about the middle of May, right around the 190, 195 units, and that's per week. So that would mean we've got 195 for sale properties in Brentwood available. What's interesting is if you look at the last week in June, we've only got 140. So, I mean, that's a big jump, 50 properties. So again, if you're a buyer and you're frustrated because you've had to write multiple properties, this is why. There's very few properties on the market. Remember, the challenge with COVID isn't just about the virus. It's the fact that, we're a shelter in place. People don't want to move. People don't want to sell. People don't want to have other people in their homes. So you got to work with experienced agents that know how to do things like reverse prospect, find properties that aren't on the market. That's why you work with, Laura's team. But, this is a key indicator. So you weren't able to pull it up. It's no big deal. But bottom line is the last 6 weeks, we've had a huge decrease in inventory. As far as solds, we're seeing the solds, there it is right there. So you're seeing those last 6 weeks or so. The red is the number of properties that are for sale. So you can see it just decreasing. If you look at the solds starting on 5/18. They're just continuing to increase, continue to increase. And that's just a key indicator. We're selling more properties than we're having come onto the market. So the last graph that I'd like to pull up would be the 1 year months of supply of inventory. And there's 2 pieces to that I want to spend a moment talking about. Again, months of supply of inventory is something that we look at as real estate professionals, and it means we're really looking at the trajectory of the market. If not one more property goes on to the market, how long until we run out of properties to sell? Now, a balanced market, meaning a healthy market, 4 to 6 months. If we've got 4 to 6 months of inventory on the market and at any one time, then we've got a pretty healthy market, meaning sellers are able to negotiate, buyers are able to negotiate. There's not a one-sided. If you're below 4 months, that's what's called a seller's market. So if you're a seller and you're watching this, you're going, wow, there's a great opportunity for me to be able to sell a home if I have low inventory. If you're a buyer and you see your inventory going below 4 months, you can see that it's going to be competitive. You're gonna have to have great financing. You're gonna have to work with an experienced agent that's able to put together a great offer for you. And if let's say if your inventory goes up, if you have 6 months of inventory or more, that's where you start to get into a buyer being able to negotiate. A buyer being able to say, hey, look, I don't really like the condition of this home, so we're going to write an offer below asking. Okay. And asking price is normally around what an agent feels the market will bear based on what has sold. Okay. So with that being said, and Laura's going to bring this up, you're going to see a graph that's going to show you we have 2 weeks of current inventory. Now, let that just settle in for just a second. That's 2 weeks. So if not one more property goes onto the market in the next 2 weeks, we've basically filled out our supply. So you want to know why there's so much new building going on in East Contra Costa County? Well, it's super easy. There's no inventory. This is the document here. It says 0.8. So if you look at the bottom left-hand side, you'll see it says June of 19. We were sitting at 2.4 months. Okay. 2.4 months in 2019 still says that it's a seller's market. Okay. Sellers have control. Inventory is, you know, if not one more property went on the market, you've got about 2.5 months of inventory. Well, what's happened is you can see how, you know, starting in January, which is standard seasonality, we started picking up inventory right on up until April. Well, all of a sudden we started selling it all. Okay. And now we're down to basically 2 to 3 weeks of inventory. So again, if you're a seller, phenomenal time to put your property on the market. Phenomenal time to be able to negotiate, because you're going to get multiple offers and you're going to get, you know, over asking. Okay. But that's where working with a experienced agent is going to tell you, great, we can get over asking. But remember, if the buyer is financing this property, you're going to get an appraisal. So how do you handle, you know, dealing with that? That's where you work with an experienced agent like Laura. So in this case, the two pieces, one is months of supply of inventory. What I also want you to see is that blue line graph. That's average DOM, days on market. Okay. You can see how October, November, December, if we know what happened kind of around the stock market, you know, we started seeing some uncertainty in the stock market. We started seeing COVID in other countries. So that started peaking a little bit, right? Well, all of a sudden we get some seasonality and then we get demand and we're going right on down. So right now we're sitting at about 35, 36 days on market. That's from the time you list it to the time it closes escrow. Okay. The time you list it to the time you close escrow. So I list it, we get an offer, it goes into escrow, it closes escrow. Most escrows are about 30 days. So if you're a buyer, you'll understand that this is telling you, you have to be Johnny on the spot as far as being able to get your offer written and getting into those properties. If you're a seller and your property's been on the market for 45 or 50 days, what's that tell you? Most likely you're overpriced. The market is what determines the price of your home, not us as agents. This tells us that, and when I start to see days on market tick up like that, that last little line graph piece, when that goes up and inventory is crashing the way it is, that tells me that sellers are probably pricing their homes so high that buyers are going, I don't quite know. But they can do that because there's not enough inventory. So, and again, the pendulum will swing left, right all the time, and we will figure out a balanced market. But, you know, this one's a perfect example. So if you're a seller looking to sell, phenomenal market. If you're a buyer looking to buy, I would tell you, I mean, we were just talking with our in-house lender at our office meeting just 30 minutes ago, and, you know, their 15-year mortgage is 2.5, locked in at 2.5. It's crazy. So, you know, as far as stats, that's what I have. We always have other cities available. And I know Laura and I are going to do this more on a regular basis and get out, you know, Oakley and Pittsburgh and, you know, Concord and Discovery Bay and, you know, all the different areas. But, you know, make sure you're working with a good agent who really knows what they're doing. So it's all yours, Laura.
Thank you so much, Tim. I really appreciate it. And like Tim said, we will be doing this more on a regular basis. So next month we'll hit another city, Oakley or Antioch, Discovery Bay. And if you want your stats for your city right now, go ahead and send me a text at 925-784-0905. And we're always happy to get you a market analysis to show what your current home is worth as well. Thanks again, Tim. I really appreciate it. You guys all have a wonderful day.
All right. Take care, guys.
Thanks. Bye-bye.